Hey everybody, it's Libby again with another episode of Fearlessness. And I have a very good friend and colleague for today's show, Jeannie Henderson. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and we can get started.
Awesome. Well, excited to be here with you, Libby. Thank you. And yeah, everybody, I'm Jeannie Henderson. I am the CEO of Jeannie Cleaning in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's a residential cleaning company. Along with Libby, I am also a CBF coach and have been coaching other cleaning business owners for several years. Love doing that, helping people grow their businesses. And I'm really involved in ISSA, the Worldwide Cleaning Association, along with Libby as well. And then just recently, I am launching a new training program to help business owners, not just in the cleaning industry, probably the home services industry in general, to help people with their team culture. And my program is called Culture Magic.
Awesome. Love it. You could probably help people in software too.
Yeah.
Just because
it goes across all industries, right?
Yeah. Just being in software groups, like it's a struggle in owning softwares. It's a struggle everywhere.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so I love that. So Jeannie, how did you tell us a little bit of background? Because this is, we want to talk about fearless. How did you get fearless? So what'd you do? I know what you did, but tell us what you did before cleaning. And then how did you get into cleaning?
Yeah. And that has a lot to do with my fearless story for sure. But so I started out in the restaurant industry as a young adult, and I started out working in the restaurant industry and took a job at Little Caesars Pizza back in the 80s. And there was this really cute guy running that place, and I ended up marrying him. He's my husband, Terry. So I married my boss back in the 80s. And together, Terry and I, we built 16 Little Caesars, but we just weren't done there yet. So we expanded into 5 other brands. And over our 30-year career in the restaurant industry, we built over 30 franchise restaurant locations. And that's kind of where my love of building culture started. You know the restaurant industry too. So Libby has some restaurant background as well. We've shared pain points and war stories. And so we definitely had some downturns, and that's what kind of led to our exit in the restaurant industry. We had sold off 3 of our brands, which were Little Caesars Pizza, Big Apple Bagels, and Qdoba Mexican Grill. We sold those off. We were doing pretty well. And then in 2008, our restaurants were hit by credit card hackers, and it pretty much shut us down. It was before people understood what identity theft was. And we were pretty deep in debt because we had built several new restaurants right around that time. And so on top of people not wanting to buy from us anymore because they were afraid that their credit cards were going to be, affected by that. And then the downturn in the economy at that moment in time, we nearly lost everything.
Did you say that was 2008?
2008.
Well, I owned a bar at that time. That was a great time to own a bar.
Yes, I bet it was.
Yeah.
People probably were drinking a lot.
So people drink when they're happy, and they drink even more when they're sad.
Yeah. And I mean, we had a bar at that time, and the bar was doing fine, but we also owned another chain. That was the one that was hit. So I think when you lose everything, you realize, number one, what's important. Number two.
Hi, I'm Stephen Rothberg.
And I'm Jeanette Leeds.
And together, we're the co-hosts of the High Volume Hiring Podcast.
Are you involved in hiring dozens or even hundreds of employees a year? If so, you know that the typical sourcing tools, tactics, and strategies, they just don't scale.
Yeah. Our bi-weekly podcast features news, tips, case studies, and interviews with the world's leading experts about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to high volume hiring.
Make sure to subscribe today.
Who's important to you? And then also that you can get through a lot. It really shows you what you can survive. You don't think you can survive certain things until you actually have to, and then you do. So it's taken away a lot of my fear. I'm
yeah,
go ahead, take away all my money. I can handle that.
Yeah. I grieve from my past, like losing everything. And then you're hit with something like a customer complaint or an employee getting upset with you. And you're able to take it with more grace because it doesn't defeat you or like deflate you.
Mm-hmm.
I just talked to Erica Turner. She was on here the other day going through the hurricane. And like, I wanted to hear her story and how it changed her. Because, I talk about us going through the hurricane all the time. And it was great hearing, like, she's like, oh my gosh, that just did something to me I never thought I could get through. And I think, we look at the bad things and we're like, oh, why'd that happen to me? Instead of, what did this do for me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it is life-changing. And sure, I wish I had not gone through those things. But looking back on it, I actually think I'm so much stronger, better, faster at everything that I do. And like you said, the little things, I don't see them as scary or negatives, really. I can see the positive in almost every negative situation. The opportunity, like you said, like a customer feedback is an opportunity now, where it used to be like, oh, I'm devastated by this. It hurt my feelings, like,
or when it would keep you up at night. Not that I don't care about the complaints, but my poor husband, if he gets a complaint, he can't go to sleep.
We're not perfect. There are going to be times when we don't live up to people's expectations, but it's really an opportunity to build a stronger relationship with that person.
Yeah.
And if you really focus on the positive outcomes, it's amazing how much more you can get done. Right?
Yeah. I love it. And then, so how'd you get into cleaning?
Okay. So the cleaning story. So after we kind of retired out of the restaurant business, I went and worked in the nonprofit world for a while, which has its own special set of challenges. And it was really the first time in over 25 years that I had been an employee. And I found out very quickly that I'm not a very good employee. I like to make decisions and I don't like to ask for consensus, and I'm very creative and I have my own vision. I struggled to be an employee and I loved what I was doing there, but it was sucking the life out of me. I really needed to be doing my own thing. And some friends of ours came to my husband, and they used to clean our house when we had restaurants, and they wanted to sell their little cleaning business and move on. They're actually down in Florida now, retired, and they wanted Terry to help them sell their business. And when he started looking at it, he said, I think this is what we should do. And I said, I think you're crazy. I don't know anything about that. But here I am. 9 years later, we just celebrated our 9th anniversary in the cleaning business. And I'm so glad that we made that decision. It was one of the best things we've ever done.
People ask me all the time, like almost every week I get the question, like, why do you keep your cleaning business? Or when are you going to sell it? And I'm like, I'm not. It's the foundation of everything that I do, whether it's CBF, ISSA, or the softwares or the coaching. I'm not. And then also with the threat of like technology and AI and how fast technology is moving, there's no one taking that cleaning job yet. That robot is still a little ways out. And when it is out, my customers still can't afford it.
Right.
So it'll be a while.
Hey, I'm Katie Van Horn. And I'm Jackie Clayton. We're your hosts of the Inclusive AF podcast, where we take on DEI, leadership, and HR without all the corporate fluff. That's right. We've got decades of experience, a lot of opinions, and zero tolerance for performative anything. Every week, we dig into what it really takes to build inclusive workplaces with honesty, strategy, and a few side eyes. We'll talk about the tough stuff, power dynamics, privilege, what's broken in the system, and how we can all do better. And don't worry, it's not all heavy. We bring receipts, laughs, and real talk from people actually doing the work. Think of it as your weekly dose of truth, tips, and a little tea to help you lead with intention and show up for your people. So if you're ready to push past the buzzwords and get into the actual work of inclusion, you're in the right place. So subscribe to the Inclusive AF podcast. New episodes drop every week. Catch us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be here breaking it down one inclusive convo at a time.
Not even be in our lifetime that people can afford a robot that can actually do what our amazing technicians do, right? It's going to be highly unlikely. But yeah, I love that about you. I mean, I think that I mean, you know what got you where you are today. And I love how you use your business, not like a test subject, but you take your business and you learn lessons in it. And then you take that and you share it with everyone, the lessons that you're learning as you're growing your business. So it's a great opportunity. I can see how it's infiltrated all the other things that you've done.
Yes, lots of things. So Jeannie's like, oh, we haven't talked in a while. I'm like, I have been like, oh. Between softwares and New Year's and book and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then from the cleaning, we met in CBF.
Right. And then we met in CBF, so I did the cleaning business by myself for a year, made it an absolute mess, didn't know what I was doing. I thought all those years of success that I had in the restaurant industry were going to just immediately translate into success in the cleaning industry. And it certainly did not. And so through CBF, found the systems that we use in our business to build a successful cleaning business that led to then coaching within CBF and on the CBF coaches team with you and our other great coaches, helping other cleaning business owners grow. And that, kind of led to getting really involved in ISSA Cleaning for a Reason, which I didn't mention. I'm also very involved there. And I have another new venture that's getting ready to launch. I'm in the prototype phase of product development. So,
oh yeah, is it a different product or is it the same one you were telling us about?
Yeah, it's the same one.
Ago?
So I'm working on products for the residential cleaning industry. Yeah,
fun, love it.
Yeah, I know. I'm super excited about that. But again,
you're in products and I'm over in software.
Right. Yeah. Different things, both needed, but it's hard to just do one thing when you have all these ideas. And sometimes I think, I'm so crazy, I should not be adding one more thing. But then I look at Libby and I'm like, hey, look at Libby. She's doing it. She's still smiling.
Oh, yeah. We've had this conversation on here and about like, you can only do one thing. And I said, I will fight you to the death on that because the person that tells you that you can only do one thing, and it was a Cameron Herold statement and quote, and I'm a huge Cameron Herold fan, right? But I'm like, he doesn't do one thing. He has like 10 companies.
Right. He was the 2 toilets guy, right?
Yeah, he's the 2 toilets guy. And I'm like, I call baloney because I've met Cameron Herold. He's in one of our coaching groups that we're in. Like, I know what he's doing. I've read his books. I'm like, yeah, you didn't do one thing. I know what you mean, but the way it came off, the way you made it came off was like, you can only do one thing. And I'm like,
yeah, right. No, and I think we would go crazy if we only did one thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I love diversifying. I will say COVID and then Hurricane Ian really taught me that if all those eggs are in one basket and your family is dependent on that company, you're operating at a really high level of risk. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it truly is that way, and if something shifts in the market, not even a catastrophe, but just something shifts, then what happens? But there's just so many things that diversifying serves, whether it's you as a visionary or security, your finances, all those things. It just makes a lot of sense. And it builds opportunity and excitement for people who work on your teams too.
And now, even in cleaning or in software, we're restructuring. That isn't another reason why you haven't seen me. Oh my gosh, like attorney meetings, we're restructuring all the entities.
Okay.
And because of Organize It having multiple locations, I just bought another software. The book is coming out. And so we're trying to figure out, like, how do you restructure this? And you're going to laugh at me when I say this. I'm like, we're creating a new company and it's called Libby Delucian because she's not even real. Because that's not my real name.
Company. Right.
It isn't my real name. So those who know me know what my real name is. Jeannie knows what my real name is.
Right.
And so we're restructuring and we're bringing them under 2 separate umbrellas. There's going to be 2 separate umbrellas with parent companies. But it's funny because at first our employees were scared because we're restructuring like the finance and HR department, the marketing department, and the product and tech. So I actually have some developers on my team. And some of the other people were starting to get scared. Like they weren't scared, they were just unsure. But when we rolled it out, I can now offer different career opportunities to great people who might have capped out if I just kept them in, like, if I just kept that one business.
Right. Yeah.
And then they were like, oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw in the restaurant industry when we spread out amongst different chains and different day parts and things like that. We were able to do more things, offer more opportunity. People stayed with us much longer because people need that feeling of growth, which I talk about in my culture program. Like, if they don't see a future with you that's, 5 years down the road, they're already thinking about where their next move is. It's
Yeah.
already there in the back of their mind. So it feeds us. It feeds us as the visionary and the owner, but it also helps all the people who are around us. Yeah, it's
The
very
other reason I
impactful.
did it is it's going to help me save money.
And that too.
Well, we had completely separate assets, right? So assets can be people, software. And so we had completely separate assets for every company. And so what we're doing is we're teaming them up. And now we can kind of diversify efforts. This is going to sound funny. Software, like,
Mhm.
you know how many logins and softwares I was paying for,
Mhm.
like different things. We trainings, because I pay for
Mhm.
trainings. So the accountant's like, you could actually save money by bringing everyone into one and sharing resources, not assets, resources.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, it
that's
makes
our plan.
perfect sense. Yeah, that's a great example. No. And I love watching you grow because I learn from watching what you're doing and many of the other, great people in my life, but it's inspiring to like watch what you're doing, even though some of it's very different than what I'm doing. A lot of it applies too, right? We're owning multiple businesses, starting different brands. And, it's funny that you said that, Libby DeLucian is not a real person. And I really do treat it like Jeannie Henderson is kind of a separate entity. The Jeannie is separate from me. And she will live on way longer than I will. And that's one of my goals, is that the brand will outlive me,
Yes.
right? And it will continue to provide opportunity, continue to provide impact.
Well, I'm an EO, and they give, in EO, it's entrepreneurs organization, and it's about
Mhm.
like mindset and growth. And they brought in an attorney, right? An attorney, and they were talking about setting up the entities properly and trust. And I was like, well, most of us in the group were like, well, we didn't have our stuff set up right because we were all single owner LLCs.
Mm-hmm.
And in Florida, that offers us no protection. Yeah, single owner LLCs offers, like, there's really no protection. And so
Mm-hmm.
I already knew that. I'd heard it. And when I got home, I told Chris, I was like, well, crap, it's time for me to grow up and and restructure everything. And then then there's the trust, because who gets everything if something happens to you?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, oh yeah. So that's been like the last month or two of organizing all that stuff. But it's fun because like you said, it's living on past me. So you're thinking about the kids, and then like your husband or your spouse, and what's going to happen if something happens to you or them, making sure everything is in line. So I was like, yeah, it's time to grow up
Right.
and get
yes,
get everything in order.
right. Yeah. And the sooner the better. There's really no reason to wait on that kind of stuff. A lot of people are like, well, I'll do that when I get older. Well, none of us is guaranteed tomorrow. And none of us wants our business to just drop dead when we drop dead, you know? And there's a
No.
whole lot of people, especially around you, who are going to be impacted by that. I mean, how many people are in your organization now?
So we probably have about 100.
Mm-hmm.
But what I care about our people tremendously. But the thing that really gets me is, like, my mom works with us, my son works with us, my other son is getting ready to start working for one of the softwares, Austin, my 16-year-old.
That's awesome.
We bought him a computer for Christmas.
Yeah.
Only for him he doesn't even know, for him to actually work for us.
Yeah. That's great.
And Chris works with us, my husband. So it's like, it's those people, you're like, oh my gosh, like, there's so many dependents on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the employees on top of that. So, it's something that we need to take care of. But let's go back to the cleaning. I want to hear more about culture magic. Like, where did you what did you go through to have to learn that this was important?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a important thing. And I think, a lot of people live through that and they feel like they're powerless. So when my husband Terry and I were in the restaurant industry, we were known for the culture that we created. We won awards. There were articles written about us. We were famous for being able to build great teams, because great teams are how businesses grow. And then I came into the cleaning industry thinking I could carry everything that we did there over from the restaurant industry. And it didn't translate, unfortunately, because the people and the structure is so different on the cleaning side than it is on the restaurant side. So on the restaurant side, you have, 15 people show up for a shift. They all work together. They can high five. They get through the rush together and they celebrate.
And they're in the same building together.
Yeah, they see each other. They're face to face. They build relationships. They meet their friends there. Like, I met my husband there. It's a completely different idea of how to build a team. And even though at the beginning of our cleaning business, our team members did come in every day and they were working in teams of 2, that still wasn't enough connection with me as their leader or with the rest of the team for them to feel like they belong. And I realized very quickly, like, oh my goodness, these people are lonely. Like, they're hungry for relationship. And the real eye-opener was that I had a team member that I was really excited about. She was the daughter of some dear friends of ours. She came to work for us and she had been in management in the restaurant industry. And I really thought that this was going to be the kingpin that I was going to build my team on, because she was amazing. Finally, I got the right one. And this is after so much turnover. I mean, I printed 3 times as many W-2s the first year I owned my business as I had people on my team. So I think I printed 24 W-2s that year. And, so my turnover rate was ridiculous. And anyway, she quit after 2 weeks. And the reason that she told me she quit was because she was lonely. And that word lonely just was like ringing in my ears, like, my goodness. And I realized it was my fault. I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do to make our workplace a great place to be, and that people felt wanted and welcome and valued and connected. So that's where I really started working first. Was I had to figure out a way for people to get connected. And then as I started working on that, belonging connection piece, and actually first I started with my leadership, then I worked on connectedness, right? And then I realized there's just so much more to it, to keep people long-term, to keep them engaged, to get them really involved day to day. And that's when I built out the rest of the system. So it's a 5-part system. And the nice thing is it's easy to remember because it spells the word magic to go with my magical Jeannie brand. And so the M is mentorship. That's that leadership piece. That's doing what needs to be done so that your team is growing and that you're building new leaders, right? I know you know that, Libby, that you have to be constantly building new leaders if you're going to grow. And then A is for acceptance. That's that connectedness piece where people feel like they're part of something bigger, that they're valued, that they're seen by their leaders and by each other. They're known. And then G is for growth. And this was really eye-opening when I discovered how people need to grow at work. A lot of people think of cleaning as a dead-end job. This is what I do, and I will be doing the same thing for as long as I do this job. And unfortunately, people can't exist in that plane for very long, right? They start to feel like they're dying, like grow or die. They feel like they're not progressing. People need to feel progression in their life. And as employers, it's our responsibility to help them with that. And it goes beyond just their professional development or a career path, helping them grow as individuals, helping them like you're doing in your business. You're giving them future opportunities. They can see a future for themselves in your company, but then you're also providing training for them that makes them better employees, whether they're working for you or someone else.
People
Right?
would be shocked at the amount of money I spend on my employee training.
I bet. I can
I
only
spend
imagine.
$60,000 minimum a year in an employee course.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
they
awesome.
show up. They all show up. They show up every time. I don't have to tell them to show up. They get excited because I see them all in a chat that it's time
Mhm.
for like their wisdom circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like, and so I've tried other things that were like more low cost. I tried to make people go, like, it didn't work. But when I
Mhm.
found something that they got excited about, and even though it was so expensive, I told one of my friends the other day, I was like, yeah, maybe I wasn't going to renew. And he's like, oh my God, they're showing up. Like, that's worth every penny that you're paying.
Yeah. And that is the big thing. It's like you have to find the right fit for your team, something that really moves them. Like it gets to their heart. It helps them feel like this is making me better, not just Libby's company better. Right?
Yes. And they love it. Because the other thing I encourage all the time, and I say this to them, you're not going to work for me forever,
Mm-hmm.
but use this opportunity, the skills, the connections in these groups, in the mentor groups. Like my EA is even in a group with other EAs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
like, use the opportunity to connect, because one day when you're not working for me anymore, whether you move on, I die in a car crash tomorrow, you have those connections that will get you to the next phase.
Yeah. And we have to be realistic about that as employers. I
And
say
they're like,
that
oh my
to
God,
people
don't
when
say
they
that.
first, yeah. I say that when they first start working with me. I'm probably the only one who will be here at the end. I mean, really, like it's most likely, but if my brand continues past my life, then no, but I don't expect everyone to stay with us forever, but I want the years that they're with me to be years that they never forget. That they always look back and say, I'm so glad I worked at Jeannie Cleaning or I worked on Jeannie's team, because that's where I learned this. That's how I learned how to be a leader. That's how I learned this new skill. That's where I gained confidence that I didn't even know I could have. And I've had so many employees, even from when we were in the restaurant industry, when Terry and I are out to eat, it's so sweet. We'll be out to eat and someone will come up and I'm like, that face is familiar. But, we worked with thousands of people when we were in the restaurant industry, and they'll say, I just want to let you guys know that I still think about you all the time because that was the best job I ever had.
Love that.
Yeah. And I have cleaning business stories like that too. And that's where that growth when you invest in people's growth, they will never forget you as their leader.
I lost my original cleaner during Hurricane Ian. She quit. She'd worked for me for a few years. I moved her from being a cleaning technician, knowing very little English. We paid for English classes. She hired an English teacher to come to our office. I donated the office every night or twice a week for them to host English classes. During Ian, she quit because she wanted to go serve the community through her church. And I'm like, what do I say? You can't argue that.
I remember when you were going through that, how heartbroken you were.
Guess what? We were looking because we're looking for a new lead here in Fort Myers because we've expanded. We have a corporate organization that runs the locations, and I needed a new Fort Myers person because my mom was running it. She moved. She's running the Oklahoma branch. And I said, why don't we call Marcy? Like, I see her, my mother, and all of our employees still talk to her all the time. They're like, oh, I saw Marcy. Oh, I talked to her on the phone. I saw her at the grocery store. And I'm like, why don't we call her and ask her if she's looking for a job? And this is, I think, sometimes what we don't do this as owners. And so we called her, and she was so happy and excited to get an offer.
Isn't that cool?
So ecstatic. She was struggling. She was driving an hour to a job that she didn't like. And you think to yourself, though, why don't they come back? Why don't they ask?
Yeah, they don't.
And so she started. And so she started today.
That's so great, Libby. I love that story.
And my mom, who had connected with her and stayed in touch and went and seen her on her birthday, and like they've just stayed in touch because they worked for a couple of years together in the office, said that she was so excited for the job, so excited to come back because she hadn't worked for a place like this since. And she went to Publix and worked for the church, and she just didn't have anything. And I just thought to myself, I asked Chris, I'm like, I wonder why she didn't ask to come back.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to ask her, but my story with Katie is very similar that way. Katie, who's my COO right now, she was with us in the restaurant industry. And I asked her to come work with us in the cleaning industry twice. And she said yes the second time.
Yeah.
The first time she said no. And then the second time we actually crossed paths because she was looking for a contractor to work on her house. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were calling because you wanted a job. And she goes, well, actually, I am looking for a job. So that's what started that conversation. But they don't necessarily come back. So it's a really good lesson to stay in touch with people. And if you're thinking about someone who used to be with you and you're like, man, I wish they were still on my team. Never
She did
hurts
phenomenal. Like, she wrote all of our SOPs. She wrote training. She recorded. She taught. She mentored. She house inspected. And she was phenomenal in the office because I moved her from the field into the office and never missed a day, never called out. Like, and you wonder, and you're like, well, what if I wouldn't have sucked it up
Mm-hmm.
and not have asked? And she
Right.
was on my mind. Like you said, I'd send her a Christmas card or a birthday card because it wasn't this Christmas, so it was last Christmas. And maybe my mom bought her a birthday present from Organize It. And so the office did a great job staying in touch. I will admit I did a crappy job at staying in touch.
Well, it's a lot to do, right? We
Yeah.
have a few things, a few balls in the air, but it's still okay, even if you haven't kept in touch, to call them. Because if you're thinking of them, they may very well be thinking of you. And yeah, I love that. That is so good. And it's a great lesson to all of us, a great reminder
I
to
think
all
it's
of us.
an ego thing from both sides. Like, they may feel embarrassed or ashamed or that they're not wanted back. And me, we're always taught, like, if they quit, or you think in your mind, oh, if they quit, don't let them come back, or, move on to the next one. But I think all circumstances are not the same.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not black and white, really.
Yeah.
And
And
that was an unusual situation.
well, I was going to say that was at a time when everyone was a little, like, lost their mind.
A lot of
Yeah.
crazy stuff was happening.
Yes. So we were on G.
Okay, G. Yes. And so I is impact. And this is such a big piece because for people to keep wanting to move forward and to stay with an organization, they have to understand how what they do is impacting the lives of others. This is also a deep human connection need that we have, that if we aren't feeding it, eventually it starts to eat away at us. If
Well,
we feel
Marcy quit to go work for a church for less money. They were impacting the community more than I could.
and she was drawn to that. She felt
Mm-hmm.
that calling, right? And I think everybody has that in us. We may not even realize it, how important it is, but we really want to matter. What's the dent that we're making in the universe? And for some of us, that dent is bigger than others, right? But as employers, we can really help people. If they don't even know that they want to make impact, we can help them do that. But we can also bring them along on our vision and the impact that we want to make in the world, and they can become part of it. And they can become almost as passionate as you are about some of the impact that you want to make. And so we talk about the impact that we're making all the time, how when we show up every day, it impacts everyone on the team. And we talk about that a lot, and how what one person acts impacts the entire team. What's the chain reaction that happens when one of your technicians doesn't show up in the morning?
Yeah.
And so we celebrate people showing up. We do talk about when people don't show up, but we celebrate, like when we have a perfect attendance day, we do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like nobody called off today. At the size of our team, it's pretty much we have one person call off every day. It's a pretty big deal when nobody calls off. And we celebrate it because it's important and it impacts everyone on the team, and they understand that chain reaction of how, oh gosh, now our schedules have to change, and somebody might have to work later, and it's just on and on. But then we also get them involved in the charity work that we do with Cleaning for a Reason. Obviously, they get to, through their work, serve cancer patients, but they also get involved in the fundraising that we do and the publicity work that we do in our community to spread the word about that. And then other nonprofits that we support. We just had a clothing drive. We do pet care drives. We've gone and worked at food pantries. We go to fundraising events for other charities. So we get people involved in that because people are going to support your organization more likely if they know that you care and you're giving back. it's clients, yes, are more likely to want to buy from you if they know you're a company that gives back. You know, you look at all of the companies, there's so much cause marketing out there, right?
Like Tom's shoes, you buy one, they
Right.
give one. The other
Right.
sock place, the ones that are socks that are like $20
Boom,
one
boom
pair,
buzz,
but then
bomb buzz,
they
bomb buzz.
give a
Yep.
pair. Yeah, they give a
Right.
pair to a homeless person or a meal.
Right.
Is it socks or a meal? No, it's socks. Yeah.
There's socks, yeah. And, glasses, like all kinds of organizations do that and people do that, but your employees are attracted by that too. It's not just clients. And so once I realized how people want to be part of the impact that our organization is making, one of our mantras at Jeannie Cleaning is we are forces for good. Like we are making an impact in the world. Through what we do, we talk less about our cleaning and more about the impact in what we do in our business. I always tell people, you are not a house cleaner. You are a life changer. And I let them know how they're changing people's lives. And we share with them, the comments that we get from people, and especially the people who have need, the new moms who have 3 babies under the age of 4, and they're just trying to figure out how to get through the day.
I can only handle one every 10 years.
Right. Yeah. You had 3 babies under the age of 30, but it's different. But yeah, or the cancer patient who really struggles just to get out of bed in the morning, and we're taking care of the dust and the cobwebs that they've been looking at for weeks, and it's driving them crazy, but they can't do it, And so we really get them involved in that. And then we wrap it all up with clarity. And clarity is the structure. It's the systemization of all of it. And it's also setting very clear expectations and measuring our progress against all of those. And when people feel clear about what's expected of them, what's coming, like your communication rhythms, I can expect to be communicated at this time daily, on this day weekly, monthly. This is what we do to communicate and to gather. This is what we do quarterly and annually. When they know what to expect and they have that clarity, it builds a level of security that they don't have otherwise. If they're just wondering when you're going to communicate with them,
it breeds fear and doubt.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They just don't want people don't know what to expect.
This was a personal thing that happened to me. Oh, I have so many stories to tell on each one of these topics of what
I'm
not
sure
to
you do. Yeah.
Of what not to do. I had hired somebody and as business owners, we're looking for help, easy buttons, somebody smarter than us all the time. So I hired someone and they had said, oh, you shouldn't be and blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't do this or that. And so I kind of backed off of some of the things I was doing. Really, one of our cleaning technicians asked if we had sold the company.
Oh.
And so I was like, no, what? No, they're like, well, we just haven't seen you in a while. And we changed the name. Well, we didn't change the name. We changed the last of the name. It was Organize It SWFL. And when we went to multiple locations, we changed it to Organize It Services because we had to take the SWFL for it to work. And they're like, well, we haven't seen you. And then the Google name changed. So, they're watching if they saw the Google. And the only thing I changed was the Google name.
But yeah, they notice stuff. They're watching.
I was like, oh, no. And that's when I had created our communication rhythms that we do now. But, I learned that lesson too, is sometimes we need to make sure, I think this is one of my lessons of 2024 is that if you haven't hired the level of hires that we deal with, like maybe I should question what the advice you're giving me.
Yes.
Because it's different. Just like you said, the restaurant was different than the cleaning. I've owned a bar and a restaurant. It was so different. The type of people, the dynamic. And then sometimes it does apply and sometimes it doesn't apply. And so just asking.
There are definitely lessons from the restaurant industry that I use today. But just when it came to building a team, it was very, very different. Yeah.
Yes.
And growing.
So when someone asked me that she asked and I was like taken back, I was like, no, why do you think that?
Well, and that's a symptom, right? That's a symptom of, oh, something's wrong. And if she thinks that, how many other people are wondering?
And didn't say it.
Right. Because a very small portion of people speak up. So that rhythm of communication is so important. Just rhythm of how we operate. People love that kind of certainty. Just like when you have a child And, you get them up at a certain time and you feed them meals at a certain time and they take their naps and they go to bed. And if they don't, everything's thrown off. Yikes. I remember it vividly. And so your business is the same way and your team is the same way. They need that same level of,
Security.
rhythm in their lifetime, and they need to know what to expect. Clarity gives that to it. And they need to know what's important to you. So your vision, your mission, and your values need to just be like the blood of your organization. It's the thing that's carrying all of the information around your organization. All of it should be just washed in your vision, mission, and values. And I'm not talking about signs on the wall and, rah, rah. It's like you're living it all the time.
Probably one of the life-changing things I ever did was really studying. That's why I said I was a Cameron Herald fan, studying Vivid Vision about 3 years ago, and then writing one about 2 years ago. We just reviewed, because you're supposed to review them end of every year. So we just reviewed them. But I think one of the life-changing things that I didn't even expect was I made the Vivid Vision for all the companies, and it changed one of the companies drastically. And then with Organize It, I printed it. It was 18 pages, made it pretty with graphics and pictures, and it had some of their pictures in it. And I printed them and I printed them high quality, and I put them in like little binders, just the cheap kind of binders from Walmart or Staples. And I had them at the quarterly, in our face-to-face meeting at the quarterly, and I had one printed for everybody. But I didn't print any for the office staff. And the office like, where's ours? And I'm like, oh, they'll be extra. We'll take them back to the office and you can have one of those. There wasn't one extra one. Every single one of our technicians wanted to take it home. They wanted to show their spouse, or they wanted to put it on their coffee table. Like, they wanted to keep it.
That's so great.
They were so proud of it. And it completely just like, I was like, I kind of thought, I was like, oh, they won't care. Like, they'll look at it, they'll read it, and they'll leave it on the table. There'll be a couple extra. We didn't have one extra. So I sent the office staff like a digital copy. I'm like, here's the digital. And they already had it, but I resent it. They're like, no, we want a printed one. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. I sometimes forget that my office staff needs just as much love, right, as everybody else. And we talk about in the cleaning industry that the cleaners are our VIPs, that, we really have to take great care of our technicians. But, our leadership team too, also, they love all of the swag. They want it too, and need to be part of it. But I love what you share there, because you created alignment. Now, you worked really hard on that Vivid Vision. I remember when you did it, but you created alignment in the way that you rolled it out. And you made them feel a part of it. And so often we have it here, or we have it in our heart, but we don't put it out there for the world to see. And sometimes we're afraid that we're going to get judged if we let people know what we really see in the future. But by opening it up to everyone else, and I'm sure there were some things in there that were somewhat vulnerable, like,
I put my revenue goal, I put the profit goal. But it also had a lot of things that they could look forward to. We rolled out our life work program, which helps. Anyways, I can get into that later, but we rolled out that program for them that supports them, like tuition reimbursement program. We rolled out a lot, but I also rolled out the fact that my vision of myself being less and less involved with the company so that I can seek, future and other opportunities. But when I first made it, I didn't have the finances in it. I had left the finance section out. And, after thinking about it, I went back and it was just one more additional page of the finance because I wasn't sure. And I'm like, why not? And I think sometimes as business owner, like you said, we have it here, we have it in our mind, or maybe we talk to our spouses or husbands or even our office, but we don't talk to the technicians about it and the field staff. And I decided to put it in there. And then I also share it with our customers, our vendors, put it on our website. I just took it down because I wrote a new one or made modifications. But I was surprised that I didn't think they were going to like it or be so just so into it. Yeah, because we think they don't care sometimes.
That people want more. They always want more. We cannot overshare. We cannot over communicate. We cannot over care for
Yeah.
our team members.
It's like sometimes I can overshare.
Maybe, but you know what I mean? It's allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and all of that. It just draws people to us. It draws the right people to us. The more that we're open about who we are as the leader of our business, the more we're going to draw the right people in our direction.
Yeah.
And
And
I remember
I think
when I first started. Yeah, go ahead.
keep going. No, I think that's
I
a
remember
great
when I
tip
first
on
started.
hiring if you're
Yeah,
getting the wrong people.
right. Yeah. And Debbie Sardone with Cleaning Business Fundamentals, she challenged me because I wanted to be invisible in my business. I didn't want my name on the business, and I didn't want anyone to know it was me who owned it. I kind of wanted it to just be out there and send me money, right?
Don't we all want
And
that? No, I'm
yeah,
joking.
but I couldn't hide from the fact that if I step into the leadership role and for my team, how it made such a huge difference. And so I don't regret that I am the face of my business and I am the face of all the brands that I'm creating because it's drawing the right people to us
Yeah.
who share the same, who care about the same things.
I find it interesting, like that topic. I was on a panel in San Diego, and after we got off the panel, I had a gentleman come up to me and he's like, how are you so confident? Like how, like you just like change the way I think about people who are cleaners. He goes, my wife has owned a cleaning business for like 10 years and he's helped her for the last 10 years. And he's like, oh, I DJ at night, but I help her in the day. He goes, I won't tell anyone what we do. And he goes, but seeing you sit up there on that panel and like you are proud and you don't look like what people think we look like. And he's like, I don't know why. I just can't tell our friends. I can't tell like people that we know in the community that we own a cleaning business.
Well, I think I had some of that in the beginning. I had to step into that confidence at some point and be proud of what we do. Yeah.
I found it interesting because I don't remember me struggling with that, but I think I went the whole opposite way.
Right.
Like, let me prove you wrong.
Right.
But, just even being able to help him just a little bit, like say that you can do this confidently and not get judged.
Yeah. And really it's your confidence that helps people understand how important the role you play in your community is. But when you come at it from a point of I'm embarrassed, then people will think that you should be embarrassed, So we set the tone for what other people think.
Yeah.
And no, that's great though. Very inspiring.
So we need to wrap up. I'm running out
Okay.
of time. But Jeannie, do you want to tell everybody about Culture Magic, how they can find it? We'll make sure to put it in the show notes. But is it dropping soon? Are you done?
Yes. Yeah. So very excited that Culture Magic, it's been something that's been running in my business for a long time, and I have taught it to a couple of groups, but we are opening it up to the public in 2025 and is a 5-session course for the 5 magical ingredients plus a 6 bonus session that is all about helping people work on their core values, whether you have existing values or you haven't worked on them yet. We work on a discovery and integration program in session 6. So that's starting January in 2025, but it's available to everyone. And it's a great value. If you can imagine, if you just save one employee, how that can impact your business. But if you can keep 5 employees for a few years longer than you would otherwise, imagine the impact that would have not only on your business, but on your personal life if you're not churning through team members all the time. And that's what we really discovered. So I want to invite everyone to check out Culture Magic. I'll share the link with you. It's a great program. It's easy to learn, and I provide over 30 tools and templates to help people systemize it and make it their own magical system inside of their business.
Awesome. Love it. Highly recommend it. Even if you're not a cleaning company, I know all those software companies out there, you guys need help too. So thank you, Jeannie, for coming on and being a guest. And if our listeners, you guys enjoyed this episode, oh my gosh, I think we're like on the 50th or we're over almost a year of our podcast. And so there are many more episodes to come. So make sure you subscribe. Thank you, Jeannie.
Thanks, Libby.